adventure. No words could paint a picture of the queen of all Argyle. And if you should have seen her there, girls, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movement and the morning in her smile. All the roses in the garden would bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the queen of all Argyle. I passed with light intention through a part of our great country known for beauty and for style. A race of noble thinkers, of scholars and great drinkers, but above them all for splendor stands the queen of all Argyle. And if you should have seen her there, boys, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movement and the morning in her smile. All the roses in the garden would bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the queen of all Argyle. But girls, now I needs must leave you, my intention not to grieve you, nor indeed would I deceive you. I'll see you in a while. I must find a way to claim her, to court her and retain her, for I fear my heart's in danger from the queen of all Argyle. And if you should have seen her there, friends, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movement and the morning in her smile. All the roses in the garden would bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the queen of all Argyle. And if you should have seen her there, girls, if you had just been there, the swan was in her movement and the morning in her smile. All the roses in the garden would bow and ask her pardon, for not one could match the beauty of the queen of all Argyle. We're laughing because we've had great fun over the years changing the genders in this song, and now it's got to the stage where we almost don't know what we're singing until we look at each other and find out, which is delightful, actually. Yeah. I am totally up for ambiguity every time we sing that song.
Yes, absolutely.
Rigidly defined areas of doubt and uncertainty is obviously the way we like to do our shows. So we are moving from Scotland and we're moving across the pond to a beautiful song by Sam Bardman, a singer-songwriter in Canada. And in fact, all of his music is simply
beautiful,
amazing, and you should check him out. says that every town and city was just a place he could leave. He's walked along the silver streams, and walking in the silver streams, saying, he said there's oceans and there's harbors, there's really nothing in between. We race across the blue till we can tremble in the green. We buy our shelter sight unseen. We buy our shelter sight unseen. Saying, oh, Sam, we haven't seen you in a very long time. Oh. Well,
from the sublime to the ridiculous, I think.
The reason we look so relaxed right now is that we've locked the children out with a real lock. So we've closed the door, we've locked the door.
What could possibly go wrong?
And we've told the oldest one, whatever the littlest one asks for, you just give it. Like, for the next 15 minutes, just give it. Biscuit, fine. Juice, fine, you know. Whatever it is. I'm a bit worried now, actually, as to what we're going to find.
Just find like a stack of
the
wrappers.
Ice cream mountain, or they bought a home cinema on Amazon. Whatever he wants, you just give it to him.
So, speaking of children, the good thing is, as we found when our children were babies, is that it becomes very, very easy suddenly to just get rid of a lot of guilt by sighting the baby. Parenthood is messy and hard and full of errors, but our darling little terrors have a good side, I suppose. You now have a handy scapegoat for each habit that ashames you, because now nobody blames you with this trick that we propose. You can blame it on the baby when the house looks like a bomb site, even if it was a bomb site long before the kid arrived. Blame it on the baby when you're late to every meeting, any excuse to miss a meeting, not just when you're sleep deprived.
once upon a long time you resented being grown up, 'cause you always had to own up to the things that went awry. Your imperfect human nature would always land you in it, but at last now you can pin it on your tiny alibi. You can blame it on the baby when you don't reply to email. Maybe they'll forget your email never was your strongest game. Blame it on the baby when you're wearing half your breakfast, though you always wore your breakfast. Blame the baby just the same.
Now you've lost your sleep and your bodily autonomy, but one glance at your spawn and be immediately excused. When people get disgruntled by the tasks that you get stuck on, just shrug and pass the buck on to the offspring you produced. You can blame it on the baby when your walls are smeared with yogurt. Say the baby smeared the yogurt and then claim that it is art. Blame it on the baby when the room gets rather smelly, even if what made it smelly wasn't quite the baby's fart. Blame it on the baby. 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 Blame it on the baby when it all goes wrong. Blame it on the baby. 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 Say it was the baby. The baby all along.
So she too modest to say, but that was by Marilisa. So that's obviously nothing to do with your personal experience, I guess. You're just like,
Absolutely not.
method acting.
My child is 9, it still works.
Yeah, it's because it's still true.
It's still true, to be fair.
So we've been playing this piece for a little while, and it's by Tim Minchin, and he wrote it in 2005, and it hasn't become any less relevant even as the years pass. We'd made some minor tweaks to fit it to our country rather than Australia, and that was all that was required for this still to speak to us now, and even in these COVID times it still speaks to us too. So this is Not Perfect by Tim Minchin.
This is my earth, and I live in it. It's 1/3 dirt and 2/3 water. It rotates and revolves in space at rather an impressive pace, and never even messes up my hair. And the weirdest thing about it is the force created by its spin is the force that stops the chaos flooding in. This is my earth, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect.
This is my country, and I live in it. It's pretty big and nice to walk on. The bloke who runs our country has built a demagoguery and taught us to be fearful and selfish. And the weirdest thing about him is he's conservative of politics, but really rather radical in hairstyle. This is my country, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect.
This is my house, and I live in it. It's made of cracks and photographs. We bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy whose granddad left it to him. And the weirdest thing about a house is we have locks to keep the baddies out, but they're mostly used to lock ourselves in. This is my home, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect.
This is my body, and I live in it. It's 44 and some weeks old. It's changed a lot since it was new. It's done things it wasn't built to do. I sometimes try to fill it up with chocolate. And the weirdest thing about it is I've spent so much time hating it, but it never says a bad word about me. This is my body, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect.
This is my brain, and I live in it. It's made of love and bad song lyrics. It lives up here behind my eyes, where all my screwed up thoughts can hide, 'cause God forbid I hurt somebody. The weirdest thing about a mind is that every answer that you find is the basis for a brand new cliche. This is my brain, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. I'm not sure that I've worked out how to work it, but it's mine. That line about spending the vast majority of your time in your house really resonates right now, I think, for all of us.
Yes. So, what do we think? Are we 2 or are we 1?
What time is it?
No news from John on the John phone, so I imagine all is well. Well, actually, John, if you send us a message during the next song, and if we need to cut it short, we will. That's all right.
We can do that.
We can do that.
In the meantime, we're going to go back across to Canada. We're very Canadian heavy today, which is a good thing.
The John phone says yes. It is a yes from the man.
The John phone. So this is a song by our lovely friend over in Canada, Heather Dale. She's also an amazing singer and songwriter. She writes lots of lovely, lovely stuff.
And this is based on an Inuit legend, Sedna, as the goddess of the sea. And to cut a long story short, she refuses to marry the man that her father chooses for her, and her father throws her off their kayak, and she holds on for dear life, and gruesome moment, he has to cut off her fingers to get her to let go, and those fingers fall into the sea, and from Sedna are created all of the wondrous sea creatures, but especially the seals and the whales that the Inuits would then hunt for food. So this is about Sedna and the creation of these wondrous creatures. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. From her hands they fell, children of the ocean swell, with ice's twinkle given sight. She offered them a name, and seals they all became, and laughing took a coat of dappled light. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. From her hands they fell, ever in the sea to dwell, nimble-fingered, quick and light. She offered them a name, and otters they became, keepers of her secrets in the Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. From her hands they fell, the mightiest of all, slow and gentle as the tide. She offered them a name, and whales they all became, to tread the paths the lesser are denied. Forgotten deep, no one wants to be alone. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. We've set ourselves a stretch goal for Sedna. The next time we play it to you, we'll bring the looper. That's our stretch goal for next time. Something exciting to add. thinking of people doing creative things with backing tracks. Did you catch the person before us? Did you catch Dread before us? Oh my word.
There was some layers.
Some gorgeous, gorgeous layers. One of those.
Very nice.
I wonder whether we can. I haven't checked yet whether you can go and watch this again afterwards. But if you're. Yeah. So if you're watching us now and you think, well, who was that guy that they're talking about? You could then watch back, not to watch us again, although, you know, that's very kind of you. We're well worth the £20 we paid you for that. But you could watch some of the other glorious performers from earlier in Redbridge Music Fest.
So we'll leave you with one more song of our own. This is based all around the myth of Scheherazade. It's called 999. It's also on our second album, produced a very long time after our first album, which we're blaming
Babies
on all the babies.
Baby.
And you can find those all on Bandcamp if you look for us, in both physical and digital formats. And thank you very much to Steve and to John and to the Green Fair and Redbridge Music Lounge for having us. And we very, 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 very much look forward to being with you all in person again very soon, hopefully. Two turns of the moon. I knew then that one night the well would run dry. I know now that night will come soon. 999 nights, tonight and tomorrow, and then I'll see the moon rise for the third and last time as my spool of tales comes to its end. Only 3 left, and there's power in 3s. In the stories I tell, there's never a doubt that the third one is different. The third one has magic. But what will I do? Where will I be? What will become of me when the stories run out? 999 nights, 3 summers, 3 springs, and 2 falls. The long endless nights of 3 frozen winters, and those were the hardest of all. 999 nights, too spellbound to touch me at first. I told him the tale of the faithful young daughter who knew that her marriage was cursed. Only 3 left, and there's power in 3s. In the stories I tell, there's never a doubt that the third one is different. The third one has magic. But what will I do? Where will I be? What will become of me when the stories run out? knows what this third one might say? 999 nights, the fear with each story's last breath. Was this tale as good as the ones gone before it? Enough still to keep me from death? 999 nights, 3 silver coins left still to spend. The last one's the tale of the girl who told stories. And who knows how this was?